bonjour, and welcome to the Amateur Detective Club. This club is exactly how it sounds. A bunch of amateurs talking about their favorite mysteries. So if you encounter a real mystery or a murder, contact the proper authorities. Do not come to us. We do not know what we are doing. But enjoy the program. Allons-y. Let us begin.
I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to order. My name is Tristan Miller, the saucy sleuth.
I'm Melissa Meli, the spy.
I'm Tyler Riley, cop and a half.
Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/ADCpod and browse the unmatched selections of audio programs. Download a title free and start listening. It is that easy. Go to audibletrial.com/ADCpod. The book I'm going to recommend is Lord Edgware Dies, which is the book that this episode is based off of.
Sounds good. And we
Yep.
read it. We did.
Yeah, we reviewed it.
Yeah, we talked about it on the pod. So you can go listen to that episode. What number is it? We don't know. But you'll find it. So Tyler, what's new?
Not much, but
Thank you so much for tuning into the pod.
and that was that section of the podcast. No, I recently have found that, first of all, Ticketmaster has been trying to get in contact with venues to, get ahead of like safe rollouts for contactless ticketing and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which I think is really smart, and more ticket company sounds dumb as hell, but I don't know another way to talk about them.
No, I hear you.
Like
It's
StubHub and Ticketmaster and all that. It's good that Ticketmaster is getting ahead of things seemingly. Mm-hmm. And I got an email from them yesterday. Informing me that my AEW tickets that I was supposed to use last year when they were going to come to Newark have been rescheduled for the week of my birthday.
That's exciting.
Nice.
And tell the people what AEW is.
Yes,
AEW can be found at 8 o'clock here in the States on TNT. They know drama. And it's... It's all elite wrestling.
Now,
so this is the WWE's biggest competition in years.
oh, okay.
wow.
So it's a WWE thing.
No, it's their biggest competition.
Oh.
They're direct competitor.
Got it.
Oh, I see.
see where you're... Yeah, I'm
I
there
see.
now. Okay. So, does it have, former WWE stars?
Yeah, there's a few. Cody Rhodes, the son of Dusty Rhodes,
Yep.
the great Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Mm-hmm. His youngest son, Cody, is there, as well as Dustin, who was formerly Goldust in the
Yes.
WWE. Mm-hmm. He left to, support his brother. Chris Jericho
Oh.
is there. John Moxley, who wrestled in WWE. Oh, you would know him, Melissa. He was Dean Ambrose.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so he is the current AEW champion.
Oh, that's
Brody, a wrestler who is Brody Lee, and Luke Harper.
Okay.
He was in AEW until his untimely passing last month.
Yeah, he just passed away. I remember hearing about that.
I have two questions.
Sure.
One, did you know all of those off the top of your head?
Yes.
Amazing. Two, why do all wrestling names also sound like porn actors' names?
Well, I mean, if you think about it.
Yeah, Tristan, I feel like you can answer your own question
They're
there.
fake names is the answer to the question. Is
Not
they're not
always.
real?
Most of the time, they're fake.
Yeah, you
but
think John Legend wouldn't also be a porn name
that's true.
if he wasn't already a singer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I may be playing my hand here, but I think it's the Rhodes thing. I think there's an inordinate amount of wrestlers and pornographic actors that have the last
Have Rhodes?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Rhodes is actually like their family. No, Runnels is her last name.
Oh, is that right?
I think.
Yeah, because Dusty Rhodes is a fun joke.
Sure.
Like, like a gravel.
Yep.
You ever drive down a gravel road with the windows down?
I have. Can't say that was a thing that I did often.
I feel like
it's enjoyable.
Gets in the windows, though, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. It's a weird sort of sensation. And even if you put on the AC, though, it still comes through the dust.
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely. That's true.
So you might as well get the fun of maybe getting... I remember distinctly as a young child doing this with the windows down and a rock flying up into the car from the gravel because it had hit the wheel, obviously, and it just right into my lap.
Okay, and that's where I have to stop because The Rock is strictly WWE. He has nothing to do with AEW.
That is true. AEW sounds really cool.
It sounds
really is. And it like gets away from storyline a bit. Like it's more focused on like the action of wrestling. Though they did make the New York Times best of list in 2020 for performance. Because of a sequence called Le Dîner Debonair. Which was a musical sequence that they did.
I think I've heard of this. Yes.
That's great.
Beautiful.
So this is your birthday weekend, huh? Maybe I'll buy myself a ticket.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun.
And I mean, if you have people that you're already going with and I'm crashing, then I can definitely just go watch.
No, I only have one other ticket, and I was gonna take Brian because I've been forcing Brian to watch wrestling, and he likes it now.
Yes, he does. He likes it so much.
Is it assigned seating or is it general admission?
It's assigned seating, but I'm sure that like not everyone who had bought a ticket,
Sure,
even lives in the area anymore. So I'm sure like tickets will be freed up.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's talk about this when it gets a little closer to and we have a better idea of
Fair. We do have like it's literally 9 months from now. So
yeah, and it's still,
or 8 rather.
Yeah, it's still very pandemic-y. So I might hold off for a bit, but like that sounds really fun and I am very interested. If you don't mind me tagging along on your date.
No,
for your
the
birthday.
more people who come to me to wrestling, the better.
Yeah.
2 things. One, sit on a billboard and call that assigned seating.
Oh.
Number 2, I might come too, depending on
Yes!
whether or not I'm in an episode.
Y'all, I mean, my goodness. I just want to do everything now.
Yeah.
When we were watching the episode, I was thinking about, because Tyler, I think you and I had said that we're going to go to an opera and get super dressed up after this whole pandemic thing is over.
That sounds lovely.
Yes, I got the glasses and everything.
Yeah, I know. And I was looking at all of Jane's backless dresses, and I don't have a backless dress, but maybe I'll get one.
Maybe I will too.
Ooh.
I do have a fun little faux fur shoulder wrap. Very dramatic.
I think we've talked about opera before on the show, but I love a good opera.
Yeah. And I mean...
Hate a bad one. Nothing worse than a bad opera, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Bad
5
Chekhov.
hours of something you're not into. Ugh.
Speaking of going to the theater and to places where you need tickets, Lord Edgware Dies, which is series 7, episode 2 of Agatha Christie's Poirot, starring David Suchet, opens on...
Episode 2? I thought it was the series finale.
It is. It's both.
Holy cow. Good night, Louise. What is happening?
It's just a 2-episode series. That's it.
Could you imagine if, like, The Good Place was just like, you get 2. You're done. You get 2.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I'd love it. I would love that so much. Something that is, like, so cliffhangery.
Yeah.
Or like Stranger Things or soming.
Oh, yeah,
Or like
sure.
not. Like, what if Friends had 2 episodes in a season?
But there's still an hour and a half. Oh, God. Can you imagine an hour and a half sitcom?
Ooh.
Oh, exhausting.
Yeah, an Adam Sandler movie.
Exactly. But we open on a scene from the Scottish play.
Thank you for saying it.
For those who don't know what that means, it means Macbeth.
Ugh. Right outside your apartment 3 times.
For those who don't know, there is huge superstition around saying the name of that play or that king. So the Scottish king, it's the scene, in fact, where the Scottish king and his wife are talking about having done the murder or about to do the murder.
Having done.
Yeah.
And she's going to go, like, hide the daggers.
It's like my favorite.
Dagger.
It is my favorite. Yeah. It's my favorite scene from that play. I've directed it in college. It's anyway, I won't get into it, but I love it. And they did a terrible job. It's real bad.
But they both looked cute, so that's good.
In the TV show. Yeah, they were very
Yeah,
cute.
yeah.
Yeah, they were
Yeah, it
very
reminds me of, like, how, like, in my mind, it's like how film and television view stage actors.
Yeah.
Which I love. Every time this show puts stage actors on blast, I'm like, yes. Yes, please. Because also, all of the actors, the leads in this, are, like, well-known. Specifically, Suchet is, like, a well-known theater actor. So I know every time they're, like, snide about it, it's done with a certain amount of love.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Like, I bet everyone in that cast is a stage actor.
100%.
Yes. But they're doing a very bad job, and for some reason, the director of this fictional production that we're watching has decided to put a make-out moment between Mackers and Lady M in the middle of this scene where Lady M is, like, shaming him for being too soft. So that's a strange choice. But then we get some dude in the audience starts clapping, and everyone turns and looks at him, including the actors on stage.
And I yelled, Tristan, stop clapping.
Apparently, this dude is George, aka Lord Edgware, and he's married to the actress playing Lady M and doesn't understand stage kissing.
Yeah.
He thinks it is a cheat. And
Yes.
that's weird. My boyfriend...
I remember, it's not weird, it's just like high school behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember people getting upset all about that. And it's just like, well, who cares? But then we go backstage, and Lord Edgware is chewing out, what is her name?
Jane.
Yeah.
Jane.
Stillwell, right?
Well, Edgware now.
Yeah. Well,
Lady Edgware.
Lady Edgware, who is named Jane, and that's who I call her in all my notes. So
Okay, so Jane. He's like, Jane, you ignorant slut.
basically,
You, Jane, me, Tarzan.
Me angry.
Exactly.
And I think this is all tawdry nonsense. I should have never married an actress. And she's
Right.
like, well, you did.
But also she's like, so you agree that this is a mistake? Can we have a divorce now, please?
Pretty
Yeah.
please.
And he says no, because he's horrible and he's a misogynist, and he's like, you're mine. So we cut to Miss Lemon.
She back
Yes, and Poirot in the office, which made me ask.
with the candlestick.
Yeah. Which made me ask, is this before or after the previous episode? I think it's after.
It is after.
Right. So he's like moved back into the office
Yes,
because he realizes.
he's fully.
Yeah, he's returned.
He's back. Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to live in the country and grow vegetable marrows. I just want to solve crimes.
Reeling me back in.
So Miss Lemon gives him an invitation to an evening with the American actress Carlotta Adams. And she says, oh, she's a wonderful impressionist. And Poirot's like, no, thank you. That sounds terrible.
Yes. Yes and yes.
But then,
I have thoughts.
yeah, I bet you do. So then he also gets a telegram from Hastings, who says he's coming into town and tells him when he's coming into town. And it turns out it's in an hour from the time he's reading the telegram. So he makes a mad dash to the airport.
He's so excited.
He's so excited. He's like pushing people out of the way. Clearing space. I must see Mr. Hastings. Captain Hastings. Why do I call him Mr.? But yes. So,
Mr.
Mr.
Captain
was my
Hastings.
father's name.
Yeah, Mr. Captain Hastings.
Mr. Captain Hastings.
And they're so super excited to see each other. And, Hastings goes to hug Miss Lemon. And she does turn that into a handshake.
Yes.
Yes.
And the opposite thing that happens with Jap last episode, to contrast them, is, Poirot goes in for the handshake and the kisses on the cheek, and Hastings, is fine with it. And I think that's a nice bit of character.
Absolutely. He's in town because he needs to get an apartment because something bad happened with his wife. I was very confused about that.
His investment in a mine in Argentina fell through. So he's broke. So they're
Railway, because it was supposed to go through a mountain range.
That's what it is. Sorry, I knew mountains were involved.
Yeah.
What a railway.
Idiot.
Okay.
What?
But his marriage.
Not you, Hastings.
I was gonna say, excuse me.
But
2 weeks off of caffeine, and this is what you.
But Hastings' marriage is fine.
Yeah, it's absolutely okay.
Great.
She's
Allegedly,
just selling the farm. She's back in Argentina selling the farm.
Oh, okay.
The ranch, as he says. And he's like, but we're just as in love as we were as ever when I first met her. And Poirot says, oh, but when you thought she was a murderer?
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
that Hastings.
The
And I'm sure
conversation.
she's checking out some Argentinian bone marrows.
Woohoo!
Vegetable marrows.
Bone marrows. Jeez.
Just someone burying a skeleton in the backyard. I'm gonna grow one. I'll grow my own.
Oh, boy.
And you put it in a
Goodness.
pot, and you have yourself a stew going.
I heard him say that he was still in love with his wife and vice versa, but for some reason the tone of it felt like he was getting a divorce and hadn't lost
Yeah,
an
because
investment.
there's
I was
no
so
way
confused.
she's not mad at him for squandering their money like that.
True, that is true. But okay, his marriage is allegedly fine. Great. I'm glad. I didn't.
It is.
Well, I don't want them to break up. He thinks it's fine anyway. We don't have her point of view.
And to quote him later on, I think I understand the temperament of women. He's very confident.
Oh, yes, that's true.
The ticking of women.
Right.
Yeah. You know how we tick.
Also, sorry to interrupt us again.
That's okay.
That's the podcast.
So I watched this episode with closed captionings on YouTube, and it was delightful. Just how off these captions were.
They're just fully from an episode of Big Bang Theory.
It's like, oh gosh, I took pictures of some. I'm not going to bring them up now, but you'll see, Melissa. And so I'll share them with both of you. But
They probably
Perfect.
used.
it was fascinating.
Yeah, they probably used an artificial intelligence rather than a real person, which is not as good. Anyway.
Yeah. You confused Japanese for, like, Poirot's whispering.
Wow.
It was insane.
That's something.
Do you the country?
Yeah.
So since Hastings is sad about his investments, they decide that they're going to actually go to Carlotta Adams' performance.
Yeah, to cheer him up.
Yeah. And Carlotta does, among many other impressions, a Poirot impression.
And the greatest Hitler impersonation I have ever seen in my life.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. And
Talk about a masterclass.
Oh, goodness.
Oh boy. This reminded me of 80% of the Fringe Festival shows I've ever seen in my life. Oh my gosh, I did not miss it. Oh my gosh. It's fun though. It's got to be fun for the actress playing
Carlotta.
Miss Adams.
Yeah.
To be.
Yeah, you don't have to prepare.
Can you imagine? The auditions must have been like, give us your best Hitler. Give us your best Poirot. Come on. Show me what you got, lady. I don't know why the casting director's from New York.
Yeah, I don't even... Right.
They always are.
That's true.
Here we are at the BBC. It's turning into Gilbert Godfrey. Listen, I need you to do a David Suchet impression.
Oh my gosh. Gottfried as Poirot.
Oh.
There has been a murder. Hastings. Toot sweet.
It's greenlit for me. I'm here for it.
At the show, Jane Wilkinson, the actress from the production of Mackers, is also there. And she asks Poirot for his help. And meanwhile, Carlotta comes over and introduces herself, and her American accent is something else.
Carlotta
Sounds
good that did her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like Peter Griffin. It's absolutely nightmarish.
It's just...
Mr. Poirot.
This woman is not from the States. This actress.
Really? I
No.
thought she was from Connecticut. Oh, I love when Brits do American accents. It's so delightful.
It's so great.
God
Much
bless
like when
Daniel
we've...
Radcliffe.
Yeah, like they have to feel the same about us.
I'm sure.
I don't know what you're talking about, idiot. No idea.
Wait, do we have Jap here?
Oh, yeah. I'm Phil Jackson. I play Chief Inspector James Japp in Agatha Christie's Poirot.
Oh, goodness.
No, it is an honor, sir.
Yeah. Well, do you have any questions for me about my role? In it?
I have questions about David.
Who's David?
Suchet?
Oh, right. That little man. What about him? Every
Like, what was it
interview
like
goes the
working
same
with
way.
him?
They're like, how's David? How's David? I pretend to not know him, and then they get all confused. But anyway, what's your question then, mate?
What was it like working with him? And did his acting brilliance rub off on you at all?
Oh, well, that's quite a mean leading question, isn't it? But he's good. He's good. He enjoys a nice cup of tea in between takes. And what he do this great prank where he take off his little mustache, right? Mm-hmm. And he'd put on my big mustache. And then he'd say, it's a little baby. It's a little baby mustache. And then he'd rip both of them off because they're both fake.
All right, well, thank you for joining us.
Goodbye, I'm going back into the ether.
Oh, boy.
Phil Jackson, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
what
wow.
an honor.
I'm so sorry I missed that whole interview you did. It was
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
Oh, were you in the bathroom again?
Oh, yeah, I was again. Oh,
Oh,
criminy.
gosh, dang it.
Oh, Jiminy Christmas.
So Jane everyone hates Lord Edgware, Jane's husband, because he is the worst. Yep. He's the worst.
He is.
And Jane wants Poirot to go see him and convince him to give her a divorce. And he feels bad for her, and he's like, all right, sure, that's fine. Poirot asks Hastings, what do you think of this woman? And Hastings says, she's very attractive.
Yes. It's just, I'm so happy that Horn Dog Hastings is back.
He's just trying to push her off to Poirot, though. He's, he's a married man. So he's like, all right, let me see if I can set my buddy up. So Lord Edgware meets with Poirot and Hastings, and he says that he agreed to the divorce a month ago and wrote Jane a letter and had it sent to the stage door of the theater because he didn't know where else to send it. I don't know where my wife lives.
That's where that whore resides.
Exactly.
Terrible man.
So Jane never got this letter, but she's thrilled, and she's like, you know what, I said no to a dinner invitation because I just wasn't in the mood, but now I want to go out and celebrate. Would you like to come, Mr. Poirot? And he says, no, I have plans, and his plans are that he wants to have, he wants to make dinner for Miss Lemon and Hastings. And
James Japp.
Yes.
It's all four of them again together.
The crew is together again. So, meanwhile, Lord Edgware's daughter is also going out that evening, and he's really grumpy about it. You know, blah, blah, blah. She's going to the opera. Jane is again wearing a backless dress.
It's very nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And so then, Jane's dinner party, before she gets there, there's a couple of the people that are hosting it remark that there's 13 places set. And you all know the superstition if you've read the Harry Potter books or otherwise know the superstition, that if there's 13 at a table, the first to rise will be the first to die. Very ominous.
Oh, so is that based off of The Last Supper, do you think?
Yes.
Because Jesus was like, I gotta go take a leak.
You know, I hadn't ever thought about it that way, or I forgot that I had learned that, but that absolutely makes sense. You can't have 13 at a table. It's bad luck.
It is.
Unless you're inviting people over and you don't care which one of them dies.
I'm hoping to be the 13th someday. What a way to go.
Oh, boy.
I want all of the attention. When I go, I'm going to make a big stink about it, folks.
Yeah, I know.
That exasperated. Like I'm going to do a treasure hunt for my will and testament. There's going to be painting involved. It's going to be great.
Yeah. We're also getting cut scenes to Lord Edgware at his house, and he's like being real mean to his secretary or maid or whatever she is.
Yes, and he's about to leave for Paris.
Yes.
And he's just gotten a bunch of money, and he's going to go buy a painting.
Right. In Paris, ostensibly.
Yes. So he's preparing for that. He's going through papers of different paintings that he's going to buy, I suppose. He's some sort of art collector.
So then we see the dinner party. We see Lord Edgware. We see things about the... And then we're also cutting back and forth to this dinner with Poirot and friends.
Right. I do want to note, though, that Tony Ross is seated across from Jane at the other dinner.
Yes.
And he's going on and on about this play that he's writing about Troy.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yes. Greek mythology. So Jane is wearing at this dinner a pink dress.
Yes.
It's very bright. She made sure to tell her maid to set out something bright and cheerful. So...
But with this badger-looking stole.
Yeah.
Oh, God. She wears that a few times, and it really struck me how disgusting that is.
Yeah.
It just looks gross.
It looks like something you'd find on the side of the road.
Your clothing has a face.
Your clothing has a face, and it's not like it's not a novelty t-shirt that has Batman on it.
No, it's a literal face of an animal that was once alive.
Ugh. Ugh. My favorite Stoll is a Corey Stoll. Great actor.
He is a very good actor. Really loved his Brutus and Iago performances at Shakespeare in the Park.
I loved him on Gossip Girl.
He was on Gossip Girl?
I believe so. Is it Gossip Girl or... No, I'm sorry. It's Girls. He's on the show Girls.
Okay.
They both have girl in the title, and they're both set in New York. Like,
Fair enough.
And they're both about young women.
No, that's fair.
They're almost the same show.
Nah, that's just Gossip Girl.
Go piss girl. You've seen that meme, right?
Oh, no.
No, I haven't.
It's just like, I gotta go to the bathroom, and then it just is spaced out. Go piss girl.
Oh, people.
Made myself laugh. Thinking about a meme. You ever think about a meme, folks?
That's why you come listen to podcasts, to talk about memes. So, Corey Stoll was also in House of Cards. Anyway.
Yes.
Then we get a scene where the maid or secretary or whatever she is watching Jane, a woman saying that she is Jane, coming into the house saying that she wants to see her husband, and she is dressed all in black, and she has a hat on that is hiding her face. But the hair is the correct Jane hair, etc.
It's a very smart looking hat.
Yeah, it is.
It
I
does.
want one.
It's like a high-scoring SAT hat.
Yeah.
But yeah, she walks in and she tells Alton, the footman, that she knows the way, so he need not follow her or be near her.
Right. He's only been working there about a month, I guess, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be near her is very funny. Do not be near me. I don't want this stunted slime in my sight again.
Yeah, seriously.
How I long to say that to my children someday.
Don't be near me.
But Lord Edgware's daughter, Gerald, who we later learn is named Geraldine, she is at the opera, but she's talking to this other gentleman, and she seems like she's doing something really shady. They do a really good job. They do a lot of, like, suspicious music throughout this episode. Yeah. Whenever anyone's doing something that seems suspicious, this music plays, and it adds to the air of suspicion, if you will. So, Japp remarks about Poirot being back in town, and it's like, oh, you're back to London, all that's missing is a dead body. Cut to...
The next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord Edgware has been stabbed in the neck, much like Roger Ackroyd, in fact. So, Japp and Poirot are on the case, and Japp's like, well, it was the wife then, wasn't it? So, Jane says she was busy all night, and she never went to Edgware's house. She was at the dinner, and then she met, and then she did, like, something else. She met someone for drinks or whatever. But, like, she has very alibi. The only time
There's always a series of words in every episode
that I just can't make work, and they just...
And they know, you squish them together for the sound sex of it all.
Oh.
Wait, what?
That's a Stephen Fryism.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
A vocal fryism at that.
You're absolutely right.
Ugh. Jane says that she did receive an odd phone call while she was at dinner, and it was a phone call from a woman, if she's remembering correctly. Geraldine also says she hated her dad, and she's glad he's dead, but she was at the opera with her cousin, Ronald Marsh, and she's pretty convinced it was Jane. So, what Poirot thinks is that Jane was framed, based on the fact that she had originally said she wouldn't be at the dinner, so someone made the plan knowing that she would be home and have no alibi, and then just carried it out not knowing that she was now at the dinner. So,
Yes.
The dinner party hosts reveal that Jane had been dating a man named Duke. Named the Duke.
The Duke of Merton, right?
Yeah, the Duke of Merton.
Come on, little doggies, we gotta go.
And his name is Percy. Then they do also remark that Jane was the first to leave this table of 13.
Yes, to receive a phone call.
We later learn that Ronald Marsh, the cousin of Geraldine, is a producer, and he'd been producing plays that had starred Jane because they pan over a poster saying as such. But he is now the new Lord Edgware and has a ton of money, and he had been in really difficult financial straits just the night before. So good luck for him, huh? And
Yeah.
Geraldine and Ronald are acting super shady. So we also learn about Brian Martin, who is the actor who had been acting with Jane a bunch of times. He goes to visit Poirot to ask him for help about this man with a gold tooth, but gives him practically no information.
And it's Joe Pesci, if you can believe, from
It
Home Alone.
is from Home Alone.
Oh.
But he makes sure. We love reminding Tyler of that movie existing.
Yes, we love it so much.
Just what I think I forgot.
Ah!
But he does also say that Jane is capable of murder. He makes sure to say that really clearly.
If you want my 2 cents, I think she's a bloody murderer.
Yeah.
And she'll kill again. No reforming her.
Poirot thinks this is mad sus, as the kids say.
They do.
Yeah.
Hastings, I do believe this is mad sus. I do not
Yes.
do not believe a word of it.
And then his little gray cells put something together. And he wants to get Carlotta Adams on the phone immediately. But she's dead, unfortunately.
Bum, 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 ba-da, ba-da, ba-da.
Oh, gosh. It was like the intro to Black Dynamite. Have you seen that, Melissa?
No, not yet. It's on my list.
Is Black Dynamite a mystery in any way? Can we squeeze it?
For the same reason that we can't do Alex Cross anymore, I think it's the same thing, because it follows a detective. So it's more of a procedural than...
I would gladly make an exception, though.
Okay, if you're willing, and if Melissa, you want to watch a trailer and let us know your thoughts.
Sure.
Oh, it's the funniest movie I've ever seen in my life.
Excellent.
It really is. It beat The Hurt Locker for Best Picture at the Seattle Film Festival.
I was like, excuse.
Technically, it happened. They were up for the same award,
Oh.
and Black Dynamite won it.
Hell yeah, dog. That's so good.
Amazing. So they're searching her room, and she has a wig that looks just like Jane's hair and a lot of other things that look just like Jane's stuff. And the maid says she was wearing a black dress last night.
And a very smart black hat.
Sounds like the stuff.
2 words.
Cologne!
It sounds very much like the outfit that Jane had gone to wear to murder her husband. In quotes. So there was also a letter that Carlotta had the maid send out that morning.
Yes. And then also they find a little snuff box that is dated in
November.
November. It's like 2AC. No, CA.
2CA from P.
Yeah.
Dyslexia, am I right, folks? Dyslexia, datlexia, all the lexias. Anyway.
Yes. So we find out that Jane and Brian Martin had been having an affair. But not anymore.
New.
No. So Brian Martin might be pretty sour about that. And he also seems to have a girlfriend who also is not a big fan. Yeah. No, she's also not a big fan of Jane.
Oh,
weirdly.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, no. But Brian is spying on Jane and Poirot chatting about this. And Jane is saying that she and the Duke, Percy, plan to marry. And Jane, again, just asks Poirot to, like, go to her man and tell him to make everything okay. Because I guess Percy is, like, kind of, you know, oh no.
He just loathes scandal.
Right.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. So Poirot, who clearly does have a little bit of a thing for Jane, at least he really likes her. He agrees. And so everyone else is acting shady. Brian's girlfriend's acting shady. The servants are shady too. And
Dicka.
the secretary calls and says that Lord Edgware's French francs are missing. And that Alton, the butler or the footman,
Yeah.
He's also gone.
Yeah, he has taken off.
I'm sorry, you said something very funny, Melissa,
Oh, good.
which is French francs.
Like French fries.
You like
almost.
French fries, or like, is it just a bunch of? It's a hot dog that's just full of ennui. These are my French francs.
Isn't there another
I would love to eat that.
that sounds perfect
I'm being
for you.
devoured alive. I like life.
It's like that cartoon that I didn't really like with Seth Rogen.
Oh, Sausage Party.
Yeah.
Ah.
Did not see it.
Yeah,
Had no interest.
I looked at that and went, this isn't for me.
No, it's not. If it is for you,
That's great.
seek help. Oh. I'm kidding.
Everyone has their thing.
I'm kidding. It's
Okay.
a joke. It's a joke.
Mean joke.
It's a mean joke. That's right. We'll seek help in buying the DVD then. How's that?
That's better.
Oh, you got DVD player money?
They cost like 12 cents now.
Oh, I love this podcast.
We have DVDs at home. It's a VHS player.
It's Betamax. This is an N64. I can't even play these DVD.
It's a cardboard box with a TV drawn on it.
Use your imagination, kids. It's fine. Pretend you're watching Finding Nemo.
Oh,
Oh,
that was fun.
yeah, that was fun.
Meanwhile, Lucy, Carlotta's sister, has come to see Carlotta. She's
Ricky,
like,
I
"Hey,
want to see my sister.
Hi, I'm here to see my sister. And the maid's like, oh no.
They do a zoom in and it goes,
Yeah. Oh, Lucy, we got some bad news for you.
Oh, wait, and she was supposed to be American as well, right?
She was.
Yeah, she was.
All the way over from New York City, I'll tell you. Hey.
Oof. But she was the person who had gotten this letter that had been posted the morning of Carlotta's death. So, the letter reveals that Ronald Marsh had hired Carlotta for like a joke,
Yeah, for a bit.
to go visit as Jane to see Lord Edgware. And she, like, wasn't sure what was the purpose behind it. But he offered to pay her $2,000, so why the heck not? So Poirot interviews Ronald and, he interviews Geraldine and the daughter of Lord Edgware. And, well, actually, is he interviewing both of them? Whatever. He finds out from one of the two of them, maybe both. Poirot's interviewing them about what happened during the opera. And apparently this opera... was very close to Lord Edgware's manor.
I'm sorry, the way you phrased that was like, okay, so in the beginning of this opera, there's this barber, and he's in Seville, and they're just explaining the plot.
There's all these ragamuffins living in Paris, and
Yeah, they're burning
decide-
paper.
yeah, they decide to go out for New Year's Eve, and one of them meets this really sick lady and falls hopelessly in love.
I can't remember if I said this on the podcast or if I just said it in my life. Ugh. Am I right, folks? Content. But the idea of a modern La Boheme, but you're just like burning an iPad to keep warm during the winter.
Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Let me just put my whole ass Macintosh computer into the flames.
Oh,
And
dear.
even people in Quayun are like, that's not how that's done.
Gosh, what a beautiful opera.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous.
So, yes, during Geraldine and Ronald's interview, Ronald says that they both say that they were getting pearls. Geraldine was giving him her pearls so that oh God. so he could sell them. It doesn't make it better. So he could sell them and get money for them because he was really poor. Anyway, so they just went during intermission or an interval so that they could fetch the pearls. And he says that he saw Brian Martin leaving the manor.
In the flashback, he goes, I think that's Brian.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I dare say, I think that's Brian.
Oh,
But he also denies having paid Carlotta Adams to dress up.
Yeah, because he does go, how possibly could I have that amount of money?
Nah, that's fair.
I'm broke.
But here, the thing that they don't address in this is that if he was murdering his uncle, he would be inheriting all his uncle's money. So then he would have the $2,000. I thought they were going to bring that up at some point, and they never did. Anyway, I'm smarter than their writers. So
Yeah.
after that interview, we find out that this butler, Alton, is taking a flight to Buenos Aires, and Jap pronounces it Buenos Aires.
yeah.
Which
I was
is
like,
correct.
oh, they have a second one?
Oh, whoa.
They have a whole nother Aries down there. I love it.
I'm more of a Scorpio myself.
Oh.
So, since he has stolen all the French francs,
I'm stuck in a suitcase.
he is Belgian, thank you. Poirot and Jap run to the airport
Yeah.
to intercept him on the tarmac with like a
Yeah.
whole police presence. It's
It's really fun.
Yeah, and he sees the police coming and he's like, "Whoops!" And he makes he makes
Oopsie
a
doopsie.
huge run for it. It's an all-out chase scene on foot, and he's taking swings at police officers and
He
Jap
kicks
and
Jap in the stomach.
in the stomach. Oh, okay.
Or the groin.
Yeah, one of the two.
Whatever. He just fully kicks the... And I said out loud, he just kicked the head of Scotland Yard.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
The audacity.
It's just also... Never mind the
What,
audacity.
is yours still working?
Fuck. I use GarageBand, thank you.
So, one of the policemen shoves Alton through a skylight.
Accidentally.
Yeah.
Quote,
and he
unquote.
breaks that glass ceiling.
Hillary
Men finally
Clinton.
did it.
Except it's in the opposite direction.
Ain't that the truth?
So he falls through the skylight and absolutely crashes onto the ground many feet below and dies.
Ooh,
and
wasn't
Poirot.
Skylight on his feet, was he?
No, sure wasn't.
Poirot literally just walks up to body, and it's kind of like, well,
I mean,
what are you gonna do? He's dead.
so most everyone, there's a moment where they consider, like, did this guy do it to steal the francs? Nah. Like, way too much went into the whole murder for it to be this guy. He just took advantage of the situation and tried to steal some money.
Yeah. And the reason he's going to Bonus Aries is the fact that the first stop is in Paris.
Right.
So he can change all that money.
Poirot has 5 questions.
But he needs to know whose spectacles they found.
Yeah, and Carlotta's
That was
purse.
one of the questions.
Yeah.
Who was the one who prevented... what's the girl's name? Jane from getting the letter.
Mm-hmm. About the divorce.
Yeah. And then there were 3 other questions.
Who sent? Who is P? Who is P from the medicine box that Carlotta had? And then there's 2 more. In the meantime, Miss Lemon's like, well, I think I can figure out who engraved this box. So let me take the box and go visit this jeweler. And the jeweler says, okay, yes, this is my work. And I don't know who P is, but it was purchased by a Mrs. Van Dusen. And I know it's dated from November, but they bought it only a couple months ago. And it's like June or something. So that's weird, but at least they have a name to go with the purchase of this little box. Because that box was containing like a drug.
Yeah.
Which was...
sleep drug.
Yeah, which of course you could OD on. And that is how she died, how Carlotta died, is she OD'd on that sleep drug. So Hastings goes to a lunch where almost our entire cast of characters is. There's
Yes,
Jane.
Because what's his nuts invited him.
Ross? No.
Yes.
Was it the playwright Ross? Or
No, the one that we don't like.
Brian Martin? Ronald Marsh.
Yes.
Okay.
I think, yes.
But he fights Poirot, and Poirot is like, heck no.
What?
We won't go.
Heck no,
right.
yeah.
He
And
invites Poirot. I thought you
yeah.
said he fights Poirot. I'm like, what are you talking about?
They
Stop
fight to
making
the death.
Poirot an action.
Okay. But and there's this funny moment where he sends Hastings. He's like, "You got to be my eyes and nose," and he goes, "Ears," and he goes, "Yes, all of them." It's very good.
Yeah, it's good. So everybody's there and they're having a chat, and the writer Ross then after that wants to speak to Poirot.
Yes, because there's a moment where he's explaining his play again, and he's talking about the judgment of Paris. And Jane goes, well, then you can't trust the judgment of Paris at all when it comes to fashion. You have to go to Milan or New York for that sort of thing. And everyone's like, you garbage woman. How dare you not know Greek mythology?
Yeah.
Also a note about Ross, he's Scottish, and it's nice hearing that accent again.
It is.
Oh, I was going to say that earlier, that I found it most attractive.
Yeah.
He's got a very pleasant voice.
Yeah, I love a Scottish accent. So Ross calls Poirot, and he says something about
Ross
Paris.
Perot.
And he tells Poirot something about Paris, but then promptly gets stabbed in the neck from behind while he's on the phone.
Yeah.
And he is now deceased. R.I.P. Ross. Poirot goes to see Jane's maid, and she needs to fetch her pince-nez, but Poirot's like, no, let me get them. Don't worry about it. I'll get them. But he pulls out instead the ones that were found in Carlotta's bag. And she's like, oh, yes, great, thanks. And apparently either everyone wore these exact type of glasses, or those glasses actually lived in that home. Oh, who's to say?
Yeah. And the thing he's requesting is like, do you recognize this handwriting from the letter?
Right.
And she's like, absolutely not. And he goes, I didn't think so.
Thank you. That's all I need. Yeah.
Goodbye.
We then get a parlor reveal at the club where Carlotta performed.
And we should go to a break.
Let's do it.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. This is a weird energy I've brought to the ad break. Thanks very much for listening. We're on the Scavengers Network. You can go to scavengersnetwork.com and browse the unmatched selections of audio programs. Well, they do. You can, because they have a bunch of great podcasts like Spooky Spouses, where they talk about cryptids and ghosts and whatnot. And, I know they're about to start a new Pokemon Nuzlocke run on the Twitch channel, so you can also check that out. You got a myriad of different kinds of content from Scavengers Network. You can also buy our merch. We got mugs, we got shirts, we got pin back buttons, we got words of affirmation if you email us. Tossing it over to Melissa Meli.
We have social media, and we are on it at ADC Pod. That is at ADC Pod on Twitter and the Instagram, and then on Facebook it's /ADC Pod. And then rate, review, and subscribe on whatever podcatcher you're listening to us on, and give us a 5-star rating. Also, our email address, should you want to reach out, is amateurdetectiveclub@gmail.com. Be nice. Thank you.
Oh,
what it is, party people! Visit our Patreon, patreon.com/ADCpod. Get them subscriptions up and join us on our Discord channel for as little as $1 a month. Holler at your boys, girls, and the gender nonconforming at patreon.com/ADCpod.
Is this your audition for Wildin' Out on MTV?
Oh, if only. Do you think they'd take me?
Yeah. And we're back in the show.
Yeah. So we're at the Cabaret Club.
Yes. Poirot walks from behind the stage into the limelight, and he's like,
"That's great.
It's très
So
dramatic."
dramatic.
I took some good stills from this scene.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Very good.
So, yeah, Brian Martin's girlfriend hates Jane because of the affair, and Martin was indeed trying to incriminate Jane when he went to visit Poirot. When he was like, oh yeah, she could do a murder, no problem. And so Poirot, he's like, but I didn't kill him. And Poirot says, no, but now you have paid the price for your misleading words or whatever. Basically, he makes him feel a little scared for a minute to shame him for trying to cast suspicion on Jane. So the secretary, or maid, or whatever she is, of Edgware, hated Jane, but she had identified her from, like, way above when she walked in the night of the murder, and she hadn't seen her face. So the hat was hiding her face, so she couldn't possibly have identified her, especially if there was a wonderful impressionist like Carlotta pretending to be her. But it wasn't her either. So they figured out that the little medicine box was a prop planted to make it seem like Carlotta was taking this drug, even though she actually wasn't. So they wanted to, like, establish a history of her using this drug so that it wouldn't look as suspicious when she then died of an overdose. But, which is why when traced back, she had not purchased it. It had not been purchased that long ago, even though it said November on it. And it's cute because Poirot's like, there are so many actors, and this is but a prop in the performance, or whatever he says. So, Mrs. Van Dusen, who bought this medicine box, was an identity created by the killer, a wonderful actress.
What a Van Doozy it was.
That's right. And as it turns out, it was Jane after all. What?
Zoot Delore.
So she conspired with Carlotta, and Carlotta went to the dinner instead of Jane.
Yes.
And so
because no one there had actually met Jane before.
Or they had only met very briefly.
Yes.
And it was like candlelit, so it was, with a wig and some good, and a good impression, wearing her clothes. She could totally pass for Jane.
Yeah, the filming of this scene, was really well done, I thought.
I agree.
Did anyone go back, because I wanted to, but I didn't have enough time, did anyone go back and look at the scene? Because it fooled me.
I don't know if the first one...
Yeah, I don't think... Yeah. I think they went and filmed the flashback.
Yeah, with Carlotta, but I think the original one might be... Let me take a look here.
Okay.
But also, in the sequence, we get the actress playing Carlotta, her natural accent.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jane was not at the dinner, after all. Carlotta was there, and she was, indeed, the first to rise from the table, and the first to die, so it worked. The 13 suspicion worked. Anyway, Jane calls Carlotta during the dinner to have a little check-in. And she says, it's going great. I'm fooling everybody. And she's like, that's fantastic. And then Jane goes into the house and stabs her husband to death in the neck. Later that evening, they're at a hotel, which she is staying in under the name of Mrs. Van Dusen. And Jane poisons a glass of wine as she has a chat with Carlotta. And, Carlotta's glass of wine then later leads to her death. But as they're chatting, Carlotta tells Jane about this playwright she was sitting across, Mr. Ross. So, of course, at the lunch, Ross had become suspicious when he met the real Jane. And Jane figures this out, and Jane then goes and kills him.
Yeah, there was a great moment where Hastings comes back from that lunch and tells Poirot, what the playwright had said. He said that in front of all of those people at the table. Because he knows exactly what that means for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's, in the original scene, it's the actual actress that plays Jane.
Interesting.
Yeah. They only do wides, and so you can barely see her face, though. It's shot very well.
Okay. I feel like they really should have had the actress playing Carlotta do it, because I guess it's from the perspective. It's supposed to be from the perspective of the other people. That's who's there.
Yeah, and in the book, it's explicitly Lady Edgware all the time, and you're fooled along with it. So I guess that's the best way to get that across. But
I feel like it would work on stage really well.
Sure.
Or the Kenneth Branagh film in 2028.
Where he plays every character.
Lady Edgware and Poirot.
Amazing. But the whole thing with the letter is that Jane had seen the letter when she was planting evidence on Carlotta, and she removed a full page from the letter to her sister. And because she was able to figure out that by removing this page, it would make it look like Ronald Marsh had paid her to dress up as Jane, and not Jane herself. So, she also took a little teeny tiny piece off of the corner of the paper so that it would say, he paid me instead of she paid me.
Mm-hmm.
So, It was so fortunate that those pages lined up like they did. But
Yeah.
pretty brilliant, but not brilliant enough for Poirot. And the motive, because of course he was going to give her the divorce, but Percy was a Catholic and could not marry a divorced woman. So he had to die in order for them to get married.
And
then,
for her to get all this money.
Yeah. And then she talks about how she had a great time committing this murder. And everything after, even getting caught. And she loves the spotlight.
Yeah, she loves the attention.
Yep. Maybe they'll make a wax figure of me and Madame Tussaud. So then in the last scene, a check arrives, and Poirot gives it to Hastings and said, "Oh, this is from Percy. He was very grateful and wanted to give us a reward, and it's for you." And he's like, "But this is yours, Poirot." And he's like, no. Take it and buy yourself a flat in London. And then they tease him about an investment that he could make instead.
Yeah, railway.
Yeah. And then he sees what they're doing there and says, "I think I just better put this in the bank." End of episode. Roll credits.
All right. What do you think?
What do you think?
What do I think? Mm-hmm. I think I liked it. I think it was a fun episode. I liked all the acting. It was all pretty good, with the exception of the accents, which is always forgivable. It's hard to change your voice, which is why it's so impressive when people can do it. Nothing particularly egregious. It's a decent adaptation from the book, from what I remember. They really streamline it. One of my only issues is that I started remembering the book halfway through, so I figured it out because I remembered. But with that being said, I think the original plot is very fun and intricate, and the double backing is very, very fun. And there's a nice moment where Poirot reveals that it's Jane, because Jap has said from the beginning that it's Jane.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, "So I was right then." And it's so good.
That's true.
I love it. Also, I love how excited Poirot gets when Hastings shows up. I love how excited they all are to be back together again after Poirot retires. It's so positive, despite there being multiple murders. It's so positive and such a sweet show. And I like how they gave Miss Lemon something to do again, which is quite nice. Mm-hmm. Because sometimes she gets sidelined, which, she's, a secretary, so I understand why that would be the case. But it's always nice to see her in action and be very useful. I will say, I really enjoyed the actress playing Jane. I think she did a very good job, with the exception of the last scene. I think that she played it very one note and could have easily got more texture out of that. It made it a little bit more complicated as a character, but she did a good job. Everyone did a good job. While I get to talk, I have the talking stick or the platform.
Oh boy, what'd you rate it?
I haven't yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'll give it like a 3.5, 4. It's a good episode. It's nothing astounding, but it's good. It's out of 5, right? Because we're doing TV rules, even though it's a feature length. 4 out of 5. Good episode. Fun. I love the what do you call it? The double bluff, whatever.
Sure,
yeah.
Sounds right.
The fact that it was Jane the whole time, I enjoyed that very much. Yeah.
I would give this 4.5 out of 5. I really had a great time with this. It gets points off because I still feel like it could have been streamlined more. But that's it.
Yeah, I felt really similarly. Also 4.5. It's a strong plot in the first place, and it's something that lends itself well, I think, to TV adaptation. And they really played up all of the red herrings, and with that suspicious music under everyone doing anything. Yeah, I think that there was a little bit of room to grow, but it's near perfect. It's a near perfect Poirot episode.
Yeah.
It's really good. And the gang all getting back together again. My goodness. There wasn't a single, heavy hitter missing. Then they all got to do stuff. It was great. It was just great. It's a really good episode.
Yeah.
Loved it. Big fan.
Next week, we are talking about the film Who Framed Roger Rabbit,
At last.
starring Bob Hoskins and Roger Rabbit. At last, yes, you asked for it, and we said, we'll see.
Or we asked you if you wanted it, and you
And then
said,
we
I
did
guess so. Right? Like, wasn't there a
Yes,
Twitter?
this will do.
I know people who are very excited about this episode coming up.
Yeah. I think there are some people that are very excited and some people who are like, So,
Yeah.
fair enough, but it'll be a fun episode. We know
Oh,
because
boy.
we've already recorded it.
Yeah, it is quite fun. I'm in the middle of editing it, and yeah, it's good.
And with that, I now call this meeting of the Amateur Detective Club to a close.
Gavel sound.
Something funny.